You can start by pushing a broom on a muddy site and end up deciding who gets trusted with a $50 million build. Level 1, the job site rookie. You are 19, maybe 22, with a hard hat that still looks new and boots that feel old by lunch. You thought construction management meant giving orders. Instead, you are carrying plan sets, updating a whiteboard schedule in the trailer, counting drywall stacks in the rain, and taking photos because the superintendent tells you, if it is not documented, it did not happen. Your tools are cheap and unglamorous. Tape measure, notebook, highlighter, radio, phone. Your value is even simpler. Be useful. At this level, you learn the building does not rise because drawings exist. It rises because 100 small promises get kept on time. The gate opens at 6, the inspection gets booked, the right pallet gets unloaded. The concrete truck does not wait because somebody forgot a call. If you came in from labor, pay maybe around $18 to $25 an hour. If you landed a field engineer or project engineer track, maybe $45,000 to $60,000 a year. Either way, you are not important yet. You are the person sent when the printer jams, the plan sheet is missing, or the delivery driver is lost. Embarrassing sometimes, necessary always. The first real lesson is that the best young people do not sound like bosses. They ask better questions. What changed? Who approved this? Is this the latest drawing? Why is the electrician here before layout is finished? Once you see how one small miss turns into 3 expensive ones, you stop acting like a visitor. That opens the next door. Level 2, the assistant who gets blamed. Now you are an assistant project engineer, assistant superintendent, or junior coordinator. You have survived long enough to get blamed for real things. You are in the trailer before sunrise, with coffee going cold beside a laptop running Procore, Autodesk Build, or whatever software your company lives inside. You track requests for information, submittals, procurement logs, meeting notes, punch items, and 3-week look-ahead schedules. You thought the office side would be cleaner and easier. Then one missed email delays a 6-figure scope package. This is where stress becomes educational. The drywall foreman says the framing detail conflicts with the reflected ceiling plan. The architect says use the latest bulletin. The owner says the finish date cannot move. Your superintendent looks at you like this is your mess now, and it is. You learn the hidden job of construction management is translation. Field to office, office to owner, drawing to reality, promise to proof. Pay may climb into roughly $55,000 to $70,000 depending on market and project type. You are still junior, but your calendar now matters. You are helping run meetings and chasing long lead items like switchgear, elevators, curtain wall panels, rooftop units, and custom doors that somehow need 16 weeks when everybody wants them in 8. You also get your first serious safety wake-up. Maybe it is a drop load near miss. Maybe a worker without fall protection in the worst possible place. Maybe an inspector shuts down an area and the whole site mood changes in 5 seconds. You realize safety is not just a poster in the trailer. It protects people, schedule, morale, and the company from very expensive pain. If you handle pressure without acting dramatic, older trades start answering your calls faster. That respect is not friendship. It is a test. Pass enough tests and you stop being support staff. Level 3. The crew lead translator. This is the first real fork. Some people come up through a trade and become a foreman. Some come through engineering or coordination and become the person who can finally hold one piece of the project together. Either way, you are managing humans now, not just paper. You are standing in a half-finished corridor while mechanical, electrical, fire protection, and framing all argue over the same ceiling space. Every crew says they were there first. Nobody woke up hoping to coordinate beautifully. They want room, time, and fewer surprises. Your job is to create those conditions before the fight starts. If you came from the trades, pay here might jump to roughly $30 to $45 an hour, sometimes with overtime, truck allowance, or per diem. If you came from the management side, maybe mid-60s into low 80s, the money gets better because the risk gets better too. When you give bad direction now, people actually follow it. This level teaches one ugly truth. Technical skill is not enough. The best framer can become a terrible foreman. The smartest graduate can become a useless field lead. Crews do not follow your degree or your ego. They follow clarity. Can you answer fast? Can you admit when you do not know? Can you protect their time? Can you own a mistake in front of them without folding? You start collecting credentials because they make you harder to ignore? Maybe occupational safety and health administration, 30-hour training? Maybe first aid and cardiopulmonary resuscitation? Maybe blueprint reading, scheduling classes, or a construction management certificate? None of it is glamorous. All of it sends the same message. This person is being prepared for more. Soon you are not just coordinating one crew, you are coordinating a floor, a phase, or a section. That is superintendent territory. Level 4, the superintendent in the mud. Now the trailer door opens and everyone wants something before 7:30. The concrete pour needs a weather call. The city inspector changed the window. The owner is visiting at 10. A truck is blocking the gate. The plumber wants access where the painter already staged. Somebody swears the revised detail never hit the field. And somehow you have to keep the whole site moving without looking rattled. This is assistant, superintendent, or superintendent work, depending on company size. And companies are hungry for people who can do it. About 77% of construction firms report struggling to fill project manager positions, and field leadership is not much easier to staff. Plenty of people know construction. Far fewer can run chaos. You are measured in production, sequencing, inspections, cleanliness, safety, and morale. If the site feels organized, that is your fingerprint. If it feels cursed, that is also your fingerprint. You run daily huddles, check manpower, sign permits, walk hazards, and build the short-term schedule people will actually use, instead of pretending the master schedule solves everything. Pay often lands around $70,000 to $100,000, sometimes more with bonuses, vehicle allowance, or large city rates. On industrial, heavy civil, or travel jobs, compensation can climb faster. So does the lifestyle tax. You miss dinners. You take calls in parking lots. You wake up at 3 in the morning remembering a missing in-bed plate. You also learn the real economics of delay. A late delivery is not just annoying. Labor stands around. Equipment rentals keep billing. The owner starts asking questions. A subcontractor submits a change request. One small gap on paper can burn thousands in the field. This is where you stop admiring big projects and start feeling their cash flow in your chest. Hold the field together long enough, and the office notices you are becoming promotable. Level 5, the project manager with 2 phones. This is the level outsiders imagine when they hear construction management, but it is not the throne. It is the blender. You are no longer mostly fighting weather and production. You are fighting cost codes, subcontract terms, owner expectations, insurance certificates, billing cycles, and scope creep disguised as a friendly request. You are in a meeting room explaining why the steel package moved, why the allowance is gone, and why the client cannot have 3 extra revisions for free. Then you step outside to call a subcontractor who still has not sent closeout documents. Then the superintendent calls to say the revised storefront dimensions still do not fit the opening. Lunch is a granola bar and bad timing. Money gets real here. Assistant project managers may sit around $60,000 to $90,000. Full project managers often move through $90,000 to $130,000, with some markets higher. Senior project managers can go well beyond that on major commercial or industrial work. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported a median annual wage of $106,980 for construction managers in May of 2024. Median means half make more. You pay for that number in emotional bandwidth. You now help oversee budgets that can exceed $5 million, and on bigger projects far beyond that. You track buyout, contingency, schedule of values, pay applications, lien releases, and change orders. You learn a brutal truth. A project can look busy, look polished, and still quietly lose money. Communication becomes your sharpest tool, not charm, precision, the exact email, the exact meeting note, the exact sentence confirming who owns what. You start writing like someone who has seen lawyers, because maybe you have. If the field trusts you and the owner trusts you at the same time, you become rare. Employment for construction managers is projected to grow by 9% from 2023 to 2033, and scarcity helps people who can carry real responsibility. Rare people get bigger jobs. Level 6, the builder of big problems. At this stage, you are chosen for projects that can go wrong in interesting ways. A hospital addition with active patients, a data center where schedule minutes matter, a multifamily tower with neighborhood politics, civil work tied to utilities, agencies, and weather. Your title might be senior superintendent, senior project manager, or construction manager, depending on the company, but the pattern is the same. You solve systems now, not tasks. Your clothes may be cleaner, but your problems are dirtier in a financial sense. A crane plan needs approval. A major subcontractor is slipping. The owner wants acceleration. The budget says, be careful. The schedule says, be impossible. You meet with estimators before work starts, lawyers when work gets weird, and field leaders when morale starts sliding. Salaries here often live in the low to mid 6 figures, maybe $120,000 to $160,000, sometimes above $200,000 with bonuses in major markets or specialized sectors. Credentials can start mattering more in larger rooms. Some people pursue certified construction manager. Some add project management professional. Some stack continuing education and scheduling, sustainable building, or lean methods. Nobody in the field worships certificates by themselves, but at this level, they help you win trust faster. You also start mentoring because if you do not build people under you, your own life becomes a permanent emergency. You see younger staff making the same mistakes you made: vague notes, weak follow-up, blind optimism about lead times, fear of confronting a subcontractor early. The difference now is those mistakes cost your project directly. This level feels close to the top, but it is not. Above this, you stop running one battlefield and start managing the people who run them. Level 7, the director across sites. Now you have multiple projects, multiple superintendents, multiple project managers, and one reputation hanging over all of them. Maybe your title is operations manager, director of construction, general superintendent, regional manager, or vice president of construction. Titles change. Pressure does not. Your phone rings with problems you did not personally create but are fully expected to solve. One project is behind on inspections, another is bleeding margin, a third has an owner relationship turning sour. You spend less time deciding where a wall goes and more time deciding whether the company should replace a weak manager, self-perform a risky scope, keep chasing a difficult client, or walk away from a bad bid. Compensation can range from roughly $150,000 to well above $200,000 with bonuses, profit sharing, vehicle package, and sometimes a path into equity. But this level is not really about salary. It is about authority. You influence hiring, standards, and what kind of jobs the company takes. The hard lesson is that being the best builder does not make you the best operator. You are now responsible for culture. If one superintendent cuts corners on safety, that becomes your problem. If project managers hide bad numbers until the quarter closes, that becomes your problem. If younger staff burn out because nobody trained them, that becomes your problem too. The latter gets lonelier because the problems become less visible and more expensive. You finally understand why top project roles stay hard to fill. It is not only technical skill, it is emotional tolerance. You have to absorb conflict, uncertainty, and blame without dumping it downhill like poison. Do that long enough and one last door opens. You can keep building projects for someone else or build the company itself. Level 8, the owner, partner, or legacy builder. This is the endgame most people never picture when they hear construction management. You are not just delivering buildings now, you are bidding the future, financing growth, choosing markets, protecting bank relationships, and deciding whether to expand, merge, or sell. The cheap notebook from your early days has turned into a line of credit, a backlog report, and maybe your own name on the trucks. Your day might start with pre-construction on a school, jump to a staffing problem on a warehouse, move into a bonding conversation, then end at a client dinner where the real work is making someone trust your company with the next 20 million. If you own a general contractor or specialty subcontracting firm, your income can swing wildly. Some years you may pay yourself less than a top project manager because cash is tied up everywhere. Strong years can push well above 200,000. Great years with profit distributions and a healthy pipeline can go much higher. There is no neat number here, only leverage and risk. And risk is the final teacher. One bad executive hire can hurt 10 jobs. One lawsuit can eat a year. One sloppy expansion can drown a good company. You understand the whole ladder in reverse now. The broom mattered, the delivery count mattered, the meeting note mattered, safety mattered, communication mattered. Projects usually do not fail because of one cinematic disaster. They fail, or succeed, because of hundreds of ordinary decisions made by tired people. Maybe you eventually sell your share, step into consulting, or keep building until younger leaders take the keys. Maybe the real reward is the money. Sometimes it is serious, but maybe it is walking a finished building with your family and knowing you can point at concrete, steel, schedules, signatures, payroll, and say you helped make all of it exist. And the cost is simple. You became the person everybody calls when things go wrong. That can build a career. It can also quietly become your whole personality if you let it. The climb ends when you learn to build the project without letting the project completely build you.